I've been looking all for like 2, 3 days. I mean, it's happening everywhere, and that's the thing is that they were saying that it's possibly nuclear weapons that are being sniffed out. But number one, the amount of money and weaponry and sophistication it takes, they actually I mean, whether they have that or not, that's unknown. But it takes a lot to be able to smell radiation, like in the way that they're talking about it. And if those are the nuclear warheads that are supposedly left out there, you got to understand they're only like a third of what they were. And not, the plutonium is one thing, but the degradation of everything else, you know, it's not like what people think. Now, it could be dangerous for the radiation around the people, of course, but that whole thing. So, but have you seen the videos, Paul and Phil, where the drone goes up and the thing goes around, it disables it, she crashes, and then the thing flies away?
I haven't seen that video, no.
And they got this in LA and Temecula. The same people, the same night they saw one that looked like the drone. They were saying drones, but then Paul, this one's for you. They went like this with some pretty green lights that looked like, and they were all like us, maybe out 20 of them in the formation. They stopped, and you know what they did, Paul? It was just like
What?
it went like what you always say. He took off, flash, and like I mean, it. They took off like and the one they got before that they thought was one orb, and then it stopped and it lit up, and you could see like a triangle. But the ones that took off, that was the best thing I've seen. I mean, they took off like I'm talking about like it had to be thousands of G forces, and it's not like a established channel or anything. These were like people, looking like wow, because they were just surprised, like, oh, what is that? And they thought it was one thing, but when they started to take off, everybody was shocked. But there's all kind of stuff. The Philippines, the UK, New Mexico, Arizona. I mean, it's all happening right now, and all of it can't be drones. And they're seeing some of the same things that look like drones as in the mix of this. But they definitely have footage. You can bring it up from Chaos Mogul. I know there was a lot of footage of that, but he borrowed it from TikTok. They had two distinct ones that I saw where drone goes up and it's looking pretty pretty. And the orb, which they call plasmoids, they're not calling these drones. These are ones that are going like this, Bob. They're doing the darting, going around, up, down, and disabling these things and then flying away fast. So, and even the military said, though the movement of those, that's beyond a drone. So, we got a mixture.
Zandine, I'm not listening too much to what you're talking about because I'm talking to the guest over here.
Don't worry.
So just save it for the show. Hold.
Oh,
Okay.
we are recording right now at the moment.
Oh,
But,
okay.
uh,
Well, it doesn't look like he's going to get a.
I thought we were off the record, but on the record is good too. I mean, I was talking about anybody that hears this, they know what I'm talking about. I mean, the
yeah.
fucking Pentagon, they talking about we know what it is, we don't know what it is. Hey, but all this dirty bomb talk shit, that's some bullshit too.
Well, I've heard. I mean, what is interesting to me is the how the authorities, and I don't mean the local police, because the local police and the New Jersey authorities are legitimately concerned. I mean, they're holding press conferences over it. What I'm talking about is how the federal government is reacting, basically saying, "Don't panic. There's nothing to worry about, and don't shoot them down." So, don't panic. There's nothing to worry about, and also don't shoot them down. I could think, all right, don't shoot them down because they don't want somebody accidentally shooting down an aircraft. Because at night, especially, it's hard to tell the difference between what could be a drone and what could be like a Cessna, right? Or some other aircraft. I mean, you could legitimately mistake something, and then you could end up with a tragedy. So I could see them saying, all right, don't shoot something down. However, however, why don't the feds try to intercept something? And then here's the other thing: is why aren't these things showing up on radar? If it's the size of an SUV and it's flying over 400 feet in the air, why isn't it showing up on radar? And if we have air-to-air confirmation from like the Ocean County Police Department with their drones, why aren't these things showing up on radar? Is I don't understand. There's something crazy going on here.
Yeah, and then there's some people saying they're coming out of the ocean. So are these people lying?
Yeah,
Are
Paul.
these
No,
are these drones coming out of the ocean?
and Phil, you were the first person to say that. Hey, look, they're flying over the wrong airspace. But here's the other thing. I don't, the latest thing that's really baffling people, because right now the internet is a little bit ahead of the news. What's baffling people right now? There's some footage of a guy in a 747. He's on a commercial flight way above the clouds. These things are like 40,000, 50,000 feet even above them, and they're circled. These, I don't know about drones that go that high or whatever, but these are like,
No.
they look like Venus. They are, and they're formations all around the plane. It's surrounding the plane. I don't know what that's about, but they're 40,000, 50,000 feet and no movement unless they want to. It's like still, there's no, none of that shit. And they're like brilliant, like zephyrs. They're not like some damn. So that right there, and that's just today, and people are still thinking, is it drones or not? I think they threw that drone thing out there and kind of fucked people up, because drones, UFO.
And
Yeah.
some people are now saying it's part of Project Bluebeam. So, and I mentioned that in one of my articles, and
Man,
now Roseanne Barr's saying it, and a bunch of other people are saying it.
What's the explain that one to us, Paul? Tell us about Project Bluebeam.
Okay,
no,
it's basically
the originator though of Blue Beam. Do you know who first spilled the beans on that though? Is Oppenheimer. Okay, because he knew that he came out here and he looked for the school superintendent of California. She's a rocket scientist now. He told her it's going to be a false flag operation, and Blue Beam was the first thing he mentioned. But anyway, go ahead, Paul.
okay. Basically, what it comes down to is all these governments in the world, they come together, they have this Project Bluebeam, and Project Bluebeam is basically it's like a fake alien invasion. So everybody starts panicking. They come together, and from there you have this one figure, this leader that puts all these people together and say, "Yeah, we're under attack by aliens, extraterrestrials. They want to take over our world. We have to do something." And he gathers all these people up, and they start the new world order, and with this fake alien invasion that was created by our government and maybe some other governments that came together to make that new world order.
Now, if we're let me go with this for 1 second. If we're gonna go with the that type of false flag operation, and they're not call no one, or let's say the feds anyway, are not calling it UFOs officially yet, but everybody seems to be, saying it's drones. Could it be that this is all meant to create more strict, harsher drone legislation? More laws against, stricter requirements on flying drones. Could this be, a way to maybe even outlaw civilian drone usage altogether? Right now, it's pretty strict as it is. I thought, anyway, you have to take a test. You have to be registered. Anything over 49 grams, you can't fly over certain airspace, and the airspace is pretty restricted. You can't be anywhere within 5 miles of an active airport or airstrip. You can't be over any type of national parks, anywhere near any military installations. You're technically not supposed to fly at night. Nowhere over people or roads. I mean, it seems like it's pretty tight as it is. I don't know how much tighter you get without just saying altogether no, civilians just can't have them, and maybe that's the goal.
Yeah, I think Phil, I think it's all of that. I think it's that and more. I think they're gonna definitely do that. Whatever parties want to do that. But see, about what you gotta understand about why it probably is not Blue Beam, because if you're talking about, they just testified in Congress about these drone swarms that have been going on since the 20s. So I don't remember. We may have had drones in the 20s. I'm sure it's quite possible. But like they talked about these swarms going on since the 20s, and they were going on around military installations even then. Okay, and then it turned into nuclear installations, and so they're around those. They've been reported more around areas that have that. So um the blue beam thing, I don't know, and I know if it was it it could be all of that mixed in, and I'm sure people can piggyback, but like I said, it seems to me because you got people that from the religious community, oh, it's the angels in the earth. Then you got people from the orb community, but there is interesting footage. Like I said, when you have these things that 50,000, the guy had 15 minutes of it on a commercial flight. People are coming up with incredible stuff. So it's getting beyond what people can say this stuff. And matter of fact, there was in Arizona, the guy just took a UFO, the traditional one, like in the 70s, with the ring circle around, and the little bulb on top. This fucker came real low, and it wasn't like a drone. And by the way, they showed those Cessna-like type of drones crashed on the ground, looking like a plane. So they've got those, and they've got the ones the police found and shit that look like the expensive ones. So, you know,
Hey Zandine, I found the founder of Project Bluebeam. His name is Serge Monast. Um, he was born in 1945. He died in December 1996. He is mostly known for his promotion of Project Bluebeam. In the early 1990s, he started writing on the theme of the New World Order and conspiracies hatched by secret societies, being particularly inspired by the works of William Guy Carr. Um, he is mostly known for his promotion of Project Bluebeam, okay, which is a plot to facilitate a totalitarian world government by destroying Abrahamic religions and replacing them with New Age belief system using futuristic NASA technology and involving a fake alien invasion or fake extraterrestrial encounter meant to deceive nations into uniting under one world government.
Oh, wait a minute now. Now
real.
this guy,
Like that,
th-
Paul, when you read it like that, I mean, excuse me, Phil, when you say it like that, I mean, it sounds like exactly, what could be going on. And the thing I want to say is about Oppenheimer. The thing about it is, he wasn't the originator, but what he was saying was that the Space Force, he said 20, 30, almost 30 years ago, he predicted the Space Force. He said, we don't need any lasers from space. He said, there's bombs down here that could do more damage. He said, and they don't want to do anything. I mean, he dispelled all the myths of why we shouldn't have a false flag. But what you're just saying, what you just read right now by the originator, that sounds like could be what's going on now. But I don't know how you unless they're that far ahead of us because you, Paul, are compelled by craft that zip and do those like 2000 G force moves. So what sayest thou to the footage now of shit just taking off like that? You think NASA's that far ahead of us?
Oh no. Well, with the G-force, what you're talking about, it would have to be extraterrestrials that are able to go from energy to matter, matter to energy, because they would have to turn into a pure energy being to go and experience that G-force and without being destroyed.
Look up Chaos Mogul for me, Phil, and he has the footage. His last two videos that would have it.
yeah. I want to clarify a point. I don't think that guy can be the originator of this. If the guy wasn't born until 1945, how could he possibly be the originator? What year did that scare happen over Los Angeles? That was in the 1940s, wasn't it? Or early 1950s?
If they had children, yeah, that's what I'm.
So what? This guy would have been 5 years old, and you're
Well,
talking about
as I go down here, it says that in 1994 he published Project Bluebeam.
yeah. I mean, yeah. So okay, so he published Project Bluebeam, but while President Reagan was President Reagan in the 1980s, and we know he didn't get out of president. He was elected in 1980 itself. He's the one who was famously quoted as saying, "All we need is an extraterrestrial force to quickly figure out that we have
Oh yeah,
more
yeah,
things
yeah,
in common
yeah.
with each other than we have differences, and how
Well, it
quickly
seems like
we
he
would
picks up
unite if we
he
had an
picks up all these
extraterrestrial."
ideas, and then he called it Project Bluebeam.
Yeah.
But basically, he even picked up stuff from Star Trek. Um, He
They all
said
they all
that Project Bluebeam.
Warner von Braun. I'm sorry, Warner von Braun, not Oppenheimer. I'm sorry, Warner von Braun.
Werner von Braun, yeah, who was the Nazi scientist that was taken by the Allies after World War II. He was one of Hitler's brilliant, guys. The guy who created our NASA program.
Look what he said. Look what he said about the false flag guy. He said the same thing as Blue Beam, but even more in depth. And matter of fact, one of our Braun came out here to California. He shot out the superintendent, and she was like, "Well, what do you want me for?" He says, "I need you to let people know that there's going to be a false flag, and there's no need for that." He says, "Like, we already been in contact with him." He broke it down, but she's now a rocket scientist. And funny story about him, he towards his retirement, he was out at the Palace of Fine Arts. He had some office somewhere down there. I know this Latin lady. When she was young, at the long time, she had lowriders. She used to hang with the essays and the lowriders. This dude liked lowriders. One of our Braun liked lowriders, so they got him like a little model of lowrider. He had his office, but one day he came down with her essays, and they gave him a ride in the lowrider. But anyway,
I like that picture of that.
He did. So, while we're on, if I could look that up, and also I'm going to try to get the footage from Chaos, because, Paul really thought of you when I saw him take off. I mean, that shit, like, it messed me up, man.
Well, what's the footage you want me to look up, Sandine?
Chaos Mogul has several videos. Any one of them you'll find something compelling, but they had a sighting in Temecula, California on YouTube. The drones in Los Angeles, I looked that up. I saw that. That was the one that really went, but I believe it was on Chaos Mogul's channel.
Drones over SoCal 2 days ago.
Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah. It has it's these people are filming it, and it goes real fast. I hope that's the one. Is that they're kind of greenish.
Let me see. Oops, hold on a second. There's
it might not. Let me see if I
Is this who we're talking about?
Is this it, Zendy?
This may be it. It looks like he's showing a lot of other stuff. Let me see. No. Okay. Let me see. They got some.
Temecula.
We'll definitely watch it.
I don't know if it's showing the one where they get because one where it took off really fast. I think if he's saying it go fast, because this one that yeah. And Chaos Mogul has the 40,000, 50,000 feet where the jet is actually up there, and you can see that those clearly are something. Anyway, let me see if I can get
this. Well, Phil is playing with this. Jake Bannerman, the horror author, who was our guest tonight, he's going to still try to get on. And just a little bit about him. He's with Horror Inc., Horror with Heart, and they say that his stories are compared to Stephen King and Clive Barker. And he's doing something called Dead End Twist, and he has books out called Witch Acts, the Omega Trilogy, and the Pitchfork Diaries.
That's his best, Pitchfork Diaries. That's good. You know what that's about, Paul?
No, I have. Well, probably the devil.
This shit is crazy, man. Look, Pitchfork's Diaries is about this girl, man. It starts out, and she likes to have sex with like cadaver cocks, penises, and shit. She's like taking on some animals, and she's trying to swarm and make one guy. And these witches are jacking off. They're paying the father to come watch her have sex and do this ritual.
So you read his book?
Just a little bit of it, yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
Pretty wild.
And also
start doing this, Phil. They start trying to charge. They get the idea of like, fuck, people want to die. Let's give them a really big way to die, and let's charge billionaires to see this and give them a shot of adrenaline and dopamine. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you can edit that out if it was kind of graphic, you know.
You know what's funny is I think our most popular video to date is our MK Ultra video with
Yeah,
Penny.
yeah,
And
yeah. People are really
but Penny,
interested in it. I thought the same thing. People, for some reason, are interested in MK Ultra, man.
yeah, her video is done really well.
yeah,
And it was a slow starter, but it's really taken off.
and Penny has a lot of followers.
Well, she
And
does. She does. That's the other thing too. I was gonna say she does. She has quite a
yeah,
following.
Yeah, but
So
that video is done quite well.
and and some of the stuff that she talks about is way
Yeah,
weird.
it's yeah.
I mean, but people love it. People absolutely love it.
I kind of
Yeah.
forgot everything we hit on, but I know we were doing it though.
Oh, it was a wild tale. I mean, it was a wild interview, but she was a good interview, and it's like I said, it was a slow start, and I wasn't quite sure how well it was going to do for a while. Your first interview was like in the lead quite a bit, and uh, and then
That one girl who you got her last name wrong.
exactly, yeah, hers was in the lead for a while, and then all of a sudden Penny's like took off and left everybody in
No,
the dust. Yeah. So yeah, the original number 11. So it's funny. Now that we're like 4 weeks ahead with most things too, I don't know whether that's in a way that's a nice cushion to have, but in a way it makes it difficult for us to like stay fresh with things because by the time we talk, it's what we talk about is 4 weeks old by the time it's actually out. So that's yeah, this stuff isn't easy to do.
maybe we gotta have a fresh segment before we even get to the guest, or something or what. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe just do a couple of minutes of stuff that we can use for shorts, and do make the short stuff that we can just publish right away. Might be an idea.
Do you guys do like random YouTube videos?
I
Yeah.
don't anymore. No, not.
I do. I do. Zendine, do you still do your YouTube videos?
Okay.
There's some stuff I swear to God, and I'll show you guys, but it's just junk that I put up on YouTube, and I got like 4.5 thousand hits. It's like, and it's just junk.
Wow.
You know what? Hey, look. Sometimes you don't want that attention. I'll put it this way. I'm not gonna even say that the medium. I got one with like 400,000 hits, and we got
Really?
100, and like, yeah, and it was for it was for something we did, but you know what? I didn't like the attention, and the people want to, like, people will come out the woodworks, experts, everybody to try to, chime in and everything. But like I said, that once you do that, like, it's a whole different thing. People get on you, but I didn't monetize. That's the other thing. I should have done that before.
I've never gotten the most any video I ever did. I think was about 10,000 hits, and that was I think a Murder Mountain video I did with my old podcast. Maybe like 6 years ago. But and it wasn't 10,000 overnight. It was like took a while.
What was that on? Was that YouTube?
Yeah, it was on YouTube. I used to do a podcast called Cities of Blood podcast, which was about it was a true crime podcast.
Okay, okay. That's a lot.
We did an interview with a guy, a good friend of mine that used to actually grow marijuana in the 70s in the Emerald Triangle in what's everybody calls Murder Mountain. And they did a documentary that was popular about 5-6 years ago on Netflix called Murder Mountain that was all about a couple of murders that happened up there. And he used to live like right down the road from it. So he was like the perfect guest, and it was like the perfect timing when that was going on. And so that episode happened to do really well. And like I said, that's the most was I think about 10,000 views on that one video. And
I mean, because really, you know what, the thing is designed to really, you have to pay a little bit for your fame. I mean, like, because if we really want to expand, they go, how much you want to pay? $50 a week, $5 a day. But at some point you could say, well, how many people are they opening up that algorithm to, because they're going to ask you to use their products or represent their products. So they'll open the floodgates. It's a give and take. But the cap, it's like $15 per thousand hits, and some people
Yeah.
get more. So that's some tough, that's some work.
A lot of times it used to be back in the day. Do you remember when that one woman went crazy and went to the YouTube headquarters and shot, tried to shoot some people? Yeah,
Yeah.
that happened shortly, and they shot her. She died, and she had some crazy videos, but that happened shortly after they started demonetizing and taking away people's money for YouTube. Like in the early days of YouTube, they were paying people a lot of money, and that was when our Paul and I's mutual friend Face was actually getting a little bit of money from YouTube, because they were actually paying you halfway decent money for your views. And then YouTube got really stingy and started like not paying anybody for their views unless it got into like the millions of views. And so that's when the not so much, I guess, the GoFundMe, but also the what do they call it, the there's another website that everybody talks to, oh please, like, subscribe, and then they tell you to do some other thing where it's like a virtual tip jar, or you set up a subscription or whatever, and they're trying to get to monetize their web, not through YouTube but through a whole nother type of service, besides selling T-shirts and all sorts of goods that way.
TikTok closes down in January.
Yeah, I heard that's going away too. But I mean, like YouTube used to, in the very beginning, early days, used to actually pay, and then they took it away. That one girl went nuts and tried to shoot some people at TikTok headquarters, and ever since.
About the graveyards from here, but yeah, Phil, go ahead. Ironically, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm about to wrap it up anyway with that. But it used to be a lot more fair with the way people were being treated for the content they created. Now, YouTube, you have to have so many thousand subscribers in order to even start monetizing your videos. Up until that time, YouTube can put commercials on your videos and not even pay you. So it's YouTube just screws everybody.
They're doing that shit to me, Phil. I mean, I got videos like from my dance and all that. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, I know these are probably like, these aren't anybody's video. They're like, I gotta watch a commercial before I get to my own fucking video.
Yep, and you're not getting a dime for it.
I get a dime. I'm like, what the, so.
And it's content. They're using that content. And the other thing is, YouTube shows some really vile stuff that they don't crack down on, and they pay, and they supposedly pay people, mostly people in third world countries, to watch this horrific stuff to try to keep the really bad stuff off of YouTube. But they still put horrific things on YouTube, a lot of animal cruelty and things like that gets through. Like, I personally don't think anything where you're killing an animal should be on video. But they'll show
absolutely not.
I mean, you could see beheadings and shit. You remember that when it first?
Oh yeah. They get out there, but they got videos out there like one's called blowing up coyotes. It isn't hunting coyotes.
Terrible.
It's called blowing up coyotes. There's assholes out there that literally, like for shits and giggles. Oh well, it's and. I'm like, that's not it. There's no humanity. The whole humane practice of dealing with pests or whatever. Calling them pests, even I disagree with. But it's I personally think anybody who goes out of their way to kill animals as a sport, there's something wrong with them, and it's just a segue to a future of serial killer anyway. Yeah. I'm ex-military, so I don't.
Thank you, man. That's disconnected. That's like.
If you actually get some type of thrill out of taking a life, no matter whether it's an animal or whatever, there's something wrong with that. As we used to say it when I was a carny barker, it's about winning a prize, and it carries over with any type of sport. It's not the thrill, it's not the kill, it's the thrill of the hunt. It's the game. It's not the end result. But with these fools out there, I mean, that's they actually enjoy the act of killing.
Yeah,
And
and like with
just
me, I love animals too much. I can't be a hunter. I worked at California Department of Fish and Wildlife, but yeah, I couldn't stand listening to the hunters' stories. It's just not me.
uh, and I understand. With me, it's hypocritical. I still eat chicken, things like that. At the same time, I don't go out of my way to like there are people like Joe Rogan that like, oh, I went elk hunting. It's like, wait, let me guess. You just spent $10,000 on a rifle, $5,000 on a cold weather suit, another $5,000 or $10,000 on a helicopter ride up to the snowiest peak of the mountain with your $500 thermos and all your other gear. God knows what was it, a $50,000 trip altogether to sit in luxury while you go out there while these animals are literally starving to death in the freezing cold in the worst parts of the winter. They literally call it the starving time, and you go out there and you're picking them off so that your family can eat elk. And then when you're on Kill Tony, your stupid podcast thing, and your comedy thing, you're like, do you like the elk? Did it make you feel more aggressive? I really like the protein. It's like, wait a minute. Did that elk come into your house in Texas and fuck with you? No, but you went into its home and you just fucking killed it. It was already having a hard enough time. It's already cold as shit. There's nothing to eat. And you're going to go in there and in the lap of luxury. You didn't hike up into that motherfucker. You took a helicopter up into that bitch. And I don't know. To me, there's no sport in that shit.
You're so correct, man. And don't stop. I was gonna tell you the worst thing that really hurts you about when it happens to animals is when you see, uh, you know, most animals I know, you know, and correct me if I'm wrong, they really don't make prolonged noises and shit. Like when animals get hurt, like they fucking like a dog get, they fucking take that shit. They don't have they're like, they don't have that type of outburst out that it's like, and you're like, fuck, you think that doesn't hurt that? You think it doesn't feel? It's like doesn't know what the fuck is going on. Like it's not like, oh God, this is it's the animal's nightmare. They know what's going on, but it's like a lot of them can't even, they can't talk, say anything. It's like that's, you know,
Now, have you ever seen a movie called The Deer Hunter?
Yeah, yeah,
my
yeah.
favorite movie of all time.
Right.
With
So you
Christopher
see, you see at the end of the movie when he has that deer in his sights and he can't do it.
yeah,
Now here's the thing: if you go out and you watch any of these hunters, especially the ones that blow up coyotes and shit like that, these are what I call and my son calls tactical bros. And these are the guys with the skull with the American flags going through it. And I got a whole nother fucking conversation I can get into about this bullshit. These tactical bros that drive the biggest goddamn trucks in the world. Another sign of I got a small dick. And they and rifles in the back, fucking American flags with skulls on it, patriotic shit, T-shirts with skulls and American flags and everything else. I'd say a good 90% of them not even veterans. There's a statistic out of I don't know how many people are in this country, but it's over 1 billion, right? 3.4% are Army, have ever been served in the United States Army. 1.7%, I think, were Navy. 1.4% were Air Force. 0.8% were United States Marines. And these tactical bros, most of them never served anything.
tactical bros.
So you can cut your hair short all you want. You can buy all your little tactical gear and your rip cords and your knives and your other shit. But if you never actually served your country, you're just fucking masturbating, bro.
Hey, Phil. Uh, that's so true. Phil, I just sent you on the group one of my videos. It has 3.5, I think, thousand people that watched it. It was one of my investigations, but it was just it was sloppily done. It was two people on the couch talking about the activity in their house, but it received thousands of views. Which
There's
when I saw that, and I got a bunch of those, and I don't
I,
understand why I'm getting so many views on those.
I think a lot of it is youth, to be honest with you. You know, I can only guess. You know, we are a bunch of old codgers. I'm a little bit long in the tooth, and I'm missing quite a few of them. So, um, you know, the younger kids want to watch themselves. They don't want to watch us. So, you know, I'm definitely old enough to be their fathers, and they don't want to hang out with their parents. So,
Yeah, some of the biggest pages are faceless. Some of the big 17 million, $14 million pages are like faceless.
yeah.
But since I got you both here, do you mind putting the clip on and tell me if it's even interesting?
No, you sent me the link.
I sent it in your group.
I was in the Facebook. Okay,
Yeah.
let me get over here.
It was one of our paranormal investigations.
This got they have 470 subscribers, 4,000 views. Okay, hold on. Let me get over here. I'm gonna share the screen. Creating unavailable. Start sharing. Get back
What's the
to it.
on that?
Oh, here they are. Here they are. They look pretty comfortable, huh?
Yeah, a big fight. Ah, figure. Fight. Ah, for sure. Ah, but very. So,
See, Zendine, this case was before you.
how many years ago was this?
Oh God, I don't know. I forget.
It's all night. Sure.
But this case was actually uh, they made a documentary out of it. They watched my video, and then afterwards they went out there and investigated Ghost Adventures.
Yeah. Okay.
This is five years ago.
5 years ago. Okay, and it
Demon
has yeah
haunting.
4,000 hits.
Nice.
And I have a bunch of videos like this with thousands of hits. And it's really, to be honest with you, it's crap. It's all I'm doing is talking to these people with my camera.
They're not. Maybe they like it because it's just every day, real.
Yeah.
You know, but it is an actual interview. You know, I'll give it that much. It's an actual interview, and it's not just a bunch of guys talking like we are right now. And so, you know, maybe that's it.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Bill, can you play the UFO footage too?
Did you send that? Is that in the
Yeah.
chat?
Yep, I sent it. I sent it.
Okay.
And I think he had some of all of it in there. He kind of uh, synopsized it.
Well, let me get past the Papa John's commercials.
Yeah, and Phil,
I
I'm going
know.
to send you a bunch of crap
Yeah.
videos so we can get a lot of hits.
All right. Back to Skype. Let's share the
Back.
screen. Start sharing. Okay.
So that's what some people thought they were seeing. Everybody saw that shit. Now, what was talking about the force field. Now, so they saw one shooting, they saw one spraying. Now they saw a force field. The one he had before this actually shows the jets too getting surrounded. This is a different one, but it's got something good. Now here's so yeah, there we go. There you go. That's the force field on this shit. Now, what the hell is that?
Huh.
Sounds-
Yeah, that's for that. I'm gonna show you that force field. Oh.
It's almost like it's generating its own lightning.
Yes.
Yeah, or it could be like a gravity bubble. So it's
Like
so
a flying Tesla coil.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's crazy looking. I, I don't know anything that flies that puts out that kind of light.
Yeah, that's crazy. Huh. Yeah, how long is this drone thing going to go on?
Phil, check this one out. This is one that has the plane around up at 40, 50,000 feet. Now, this, you guys are both military. I was interested in what you guys thought about this. I just sent the link right there.
Oh, did you send this one last week? Did we see pieces of this last week?
No, it probably was going on last week, but this one right here, um, it just happened because people are saying drones, but then like I said, you have this where uh the height alone and what's going on. You're like, hey, you want to keep lying about drones?
Oh, I'm lying with it. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Yeah.
Come on, they're gonna show the plane at 50,000 of your airline.
It ain't. And that now they're saying that these drones are either from our government, from Russia, from Iran, all kinds of stuff.
Now
Yeah,
that looks like an airplane right there, right?
Yeah, that looks like an
but
airplane.
watch this one. They got one that goes up to a. Well, this one is not, but they got ones that are like this, and they go up to a real orb, a real plasma orb, and they get disabled. People don't know what those things are. There's nobody that's been able to say. I mean, that just goes back into the UFO thing. But they're gonna show one. I don't know if they on this one they show get disabled, but we'll show.
I mean, that could be a drone, but it definitely
That could be, and they got FAA lights. Some of those, so they're like, why do they have FAA lights? But
Yeah, and if it was a UFO, it wouldn't have all these lights.
yeah.
Usually, like a UFO has one light, and it's glowing. The whole body is glowing.
yeah, well, you know what? They got those. This just happens to not be the footage. He's showing something different. But now they have one that look like the traditional saucer, and they got these right here going up to a regular UFO, like I said, and you could see the difference in movement and everything. Um, Now if he's going to show some other stuff, again, we go see.
Uh,
I mean, I've seen things like that right here in Elk Grove, but
That's the Philippines, though. That's the
those are
Philippines.
private airplanes.
That's the Philippines, though, right there, and they're stationary. That's the Philippines. But if you look at the film, they stayed there for like 30 minutes. People were like first saying, "Oh, planes are no," but now they
that's,
I wasn't gonna. Those weren't planes waiting at an airport. Well,
that's the
but
spacing is interesting too.
this next one, yeah, here you go. Now, you think these are airplanes? Well, this is them from the airplane, 40,000, 50,000 feet, my brother.
Huh.
Look at that one with a ring around it like Saturn.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Now these are odd. These are odd.
Okay.
So
Another one with a ring around it.
He
yeah.
got 15 minutes of this shit.
Huh.
Even more
Yeah.
compelling. But
That's odd.
I'll find the other ones another time when they take off, because I know I thought about you in that one, but they were like these and they took off like in an instant. And this is like December 16th. Anyway,
Hmm.
what else you got on there?
Uh,
Okay, yeah, he might show. I think this is it. This might be it. This might be the one. Okay, they thought in LA they thought it was something else, and then maybe they might show. Okay, and then it turned. Okay, I think they might show. They might, it might be on here. Let me see the next. Sure. Yep. I mean, the thing is, Paul, why do you think it's happening all around the world at the time? I mean, UK, India, Mexico, New Mexico, Arizona, California, all the,
you know,
not to mention Jersey and Pennsylvania and all.
Oh, Washington had actual UFOs they saw over there. That, and that was
You know,
just a couple of
yeah.
days ago.
Did you know Wright Patterson Air Force Base got shut down?
Yeah, I heard about that. And
The
what
Force
is
got
Wright Air Force Base? What is Wright Patterson Air Force Base famous for?
UFOs.
That's where the Roswell debris was taken to, Wright Patterson Air Force Base.
why is this one blinking like that?
They had some footage over Washington D.C. Last night that looked like they were having a war. I mean, they were flashing, like looked like they were. I mean, shooting. I mean, it was great. There was about 20 or 30 of them over D.C. Look that up, and you won't think it's drones because they're over that airspace. I don't see how they could be over the airspace, and everybody's like, "Oh, hum."
So FAA is it green and red light? What's the is it just green? What is? It'd be good to know what the rule is with the light colorations.
Yeah, FAA. Yeah. I did see something on there, but I'm not exactly sure. Let me see.
Here, so that none of those could be satellites, right? From an airplane, satellites wouldn't look like that, would they?
Elon Musk weighed in on it. He was like, there's like 6,000 of them. He said that those aren't, but because the
Oh,
sun alone.
Zendine. Remember, HPI, Halo Paranormal Investigations, received a UFO call. And guess who investigated it? Zandine. I passed it on to Zandine. So, Zandine, what happened?
Those guys has some really far out claims. They called and they said, hey, listen, you know, we um we have made contact. We have found a way to do it. They come on and say on us all the time. But once we did that, the people have been on us, trying to follow us, and we don't trying to hurt us or they're then they said we do fishing expeditions, you know what I mean? If you want to hook up, we can go do some fishing. You want to go if you want to do that. But like, hey, my name
Oh,
is Smith, I work out with Tree K, and they're talking about some MK Ultra stuff. They went to the MK Ultra stuff and they said, hey, people that get involved with us blah blah blah. And I said, hey, well, what are you really trying to do? I said, because there's agencies that you can report this to, move find different ones. They're like, well, we were trying to go with somebody that's small and that's not really because the other ones they aren't listening to us. And I said, well, we do ghost investigations. That's not even like our thing. And I said, we're not anybody that will legitimize or do that. And I says, and another thing, we're not into putting our life on the line for like UFO footage and stuff like that. And they were like, it said, oh, because people, I said, nah, man. So I think that's out of our league. I mean, I, they couldn't tell me what their end game was. They couldn't tell me what they really wanted to do. Was it they want to investigate it? They wanted to get more footage. The only thing they really indicated was like, oh, well, we couldn't really get it on video. We thought maybe you guys could get footage and get famous off of it, get some money or something, like that. I said, no, we're not into that. So
Did they ask you if you wanted to go camping?
it's something like that.
Yeah, that's scary.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't ever do that. And also, too, one of the guys had a Australian accent.
Yeah, his name was Dana. Bullshitter.
Yeah, yeah. If they say hey, go fishing with us or whatever, don't do it. They might be serial killers.
The project and let them see what's really happening.
You remember that joke, Paul?
Which one?
The camping joke?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You ever hear that one, Dean?
Nah. Tell me what's the man.
All right. If you went camping and you woke up the next day and your pants were gone and your butthole was all wet and sore, would you tell anybody?
I can't even those type of things. I can't even found some shit happen to me like that.
Would you tell anybody about it?
I can't even fathom some shit like that happening, bro.
All right. So you want to go camping?
It's a joke. Yeah.
That's the joke. It's a pervert joke. It's a sick joke. It's like if somebody says no, I'm not going to tell anybody. You're like, oh, you want to go camping? And then if somebody says, yeah, I call the police and say, oh, I'm not taking you camping.
Hey, but it's funny that you mentioned that, Phil, because with Pete Diddy, some of the people, his victims, say that they were drugged.
Yeah.
They were unconscious and found their pants down or whatever. Yeah, I mean, he even did his security guard. This big old muscular guy. He put his hand on Mike Tyson's butt on TV.
I heard somebody tried that with Terry Crew, and that dude's huge.
That's crazy. I mean, oh my God, I would be scared. I would be scared just to touch Mike Tyson's shoulder. I don't, I don't want to cause any problems there. Jeez. That's crazy.
It is crazy, but yeah, that's like a deliverance joke. It's
That shit.
We used to I used to go work with a bunch of Indian guys in California, and Indian people are very reserved normally and very respectful, very nice people, and so I used to go out of my way to tell really disgusting jokes at lunch just to try to gross them out. Or just I'm sick. I used to get a kick out of grossing them out or offending them at lunchtime, but making them laugh. They had a good sense of humor about it.
Actually, shit, I know what you're saying. This shit, it's like, dude, laughter is the best thing, man. It's like, motherfuckers. I went to all boys school, man. The motherfuckers, like, it's so much. Stuff that you could say that, like, since it's not the young ladies there, then you can get away with everything.
Oh, yeah. Constant ribs.
Yeah. Man.
When I was a little boy, they used to sing songs that were derogatory about different TV theme songs. Like, do you guys remember a show called Branded? Oh, wait. No, yeah, Branded. Yeah.
I don't think so. Before my time, I think.
Oh yeah, before your time. But Branded, okay, it was about the soldier, and they took off his insignia.
Was that when they break his sword?
Yeah.
How did they break the sword? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so they took the song, the theme song, and they go, stranded on the toilet bowl. What do you do when you're stranded and can't find your role? And as a little kid, we used to sing songs like that, like Addams Family theme song and Beverly Hillbillies. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
kids,
man.
kids are cruel. You go out of way to tease each other. We're all that way.
You know, is that said he went on the ship for Valiant Thor, that alien that came down. He
Yeah,
said that
Valiant Thor.
he said he used the toilet on the ship, and that when he went to wipe his ass, they were like there he heard people laughing like telepathically, and they were like, just touch the panel on the side. So he touched the panel, and he said like this shit comes up and blows like some freeze dried stuff on your ass. Then it blows in, then the wetness, and then like the shit comes off because so. And then they were thinking, they start laughing more, and he goes, they go, yeah, you want one of these, huh? So it was a funny little story though.
That's like a Demolition Man with the three shells. You remember Demolition Man with
Yeah,
Stallone
yeah,
and
yeah,
Snipes? Yeah, the futuristic toilet.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey Phil, is this before your time, Beverly Hillbillies?
Oh no, I watched them. Reruns. I watched the
Okay, you
reruns.
remember the theme song?
Yeah, yeah. Once was yeah, man named Jed, poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed.
Okay, let me tell you a story about a man named Jed. Took Ellie Mae and laid her down to bed. Unzipped the zipper and out popped a worm. From that worm came a bubbling sperm.
Hey, he said is all right, sperm. Uh, I just sent you a dude. He's got a clip in the background of the shit happening over Washington last night. It looks wild.
Okay, let's see it. Let's see it.
All right.
There's a middle.
And while we're waiting for Phil to find it, I'll sing you guys the Addams Family. The Addams
Oh
Family
man,
started with Uncle Fester farted, and all the children retarded. The Addams Family. Da 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 da.
At least I remember that. Was it Jingle Bells, Batman Smells, Robin Laid an
Oh
Egg?
yeah, there you go. And they did that on The Simpsons.
yeah.
All right. Oh yeah, let's share my screen. This guy, I don't know. I think he's going to be in the shot the entire time. The way he edited his.
If you expand it, you can get him out of it. You can get just his screen. If you expand it to I think you can. I don't know if you can, but I was expanded. I was taking them out. But yeah, if not, then but it shows really like some crazy shit in the skies over there. But if we can't get it, I totally understand because this that was on my phone. I was able to do that. No
Let's
worries.
maybe. Let's
you know,
see.
you know, you know, yeah, to cut that fucker out of there.
I'm having a hard time with the way my screen is set up right now.
It's all right.
You see, that's called a cluster.
There goes look, there goes in the back a little bit. You can
Yeah,
see
those UFOs there, what,
Yeah.
that many, that's called a cluster.
and they're shooting at each other too. They got one on the other side over there. Look at those. This is Washington.
They had a cluster like that in Mexico City.
Yeah, they did. And this was last night, you know, like early this morning, like two something this morning.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Thanks, Bill. You got it up, man. That's cool. You could see a little bit of it. They're flashing. Like you see people dashing, cutting on and off.
That is crazy. That's a lot. That's a lot of drones or UFOs or whatever UAPs. That's bizarre. And
Now,
okay,
the, the,
okay. You know what? Trump is saying if he gets in office, he's going to shoot them down. Biden's not shooting them down. He's not authorizing for them to be shot down.
the swarm I saw take off was as big as that, but they took off like light speed. I don't think I think there was something else, man. There was and these right here. They if you just check them out,
Wow.
look at that, man. They don't look like drones, man.
No,
No.
I don't think they're drones. I
I
just
don't
wonder,
think so either.
could we scramble aircraft there fast enough, and could they even catch those things? Because So I've never seen aircraft travel that fast.
And there's areas on the bottom there, I don't see people. So if you shot it down, it's not going to kill nobody. And they need to shoot a couple of these down to see what they are. And Biden's not doing it. Trump said he's going to do it.
Have you ever watched like an air show and you seen how fast like in F-16 or F-14
I
or
saw the Blue Angels. I saw the Blue
okay,
Angels.
so they look pretty fast, right?
Hmm.
But if you actually watch them, they don't really look that fast. Look how fast those ones down there are moving.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, faster than any aircraft that I know of.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, the
That's
shit.
what I'm saying. If they even if we could scramble aircraft there in time, I don't think they could catch them. I don't think they. I don't think we have aircraft that move that fast.
You know, so there's definitely something going on. That's for sure. I mean, what do you guys think about Trump saying he's going to shoot them down?
Well,
I think.
he, he
Yep.
he made me think he made me think they were something else because he said, "Hey, listen, man, if they were friends, we would have shot them down, right?"
Yeah.
The only thing,
And
you
go
know
ahead.
that
He said he was home.
If they're
He said
shutting down Wright Air Force, uh, Wright Patterson Air Force Base, they need to shoot it down.
you know what that footage looks like to me. Or the only thing I've seen footage that even comes close to looking like that is if have you ever seen the World War II or Vietnam footage when they show surface to air rounds when they're shooting in the air and you can see it look almost like that. Now what's called
yeah,
aircraft when
you
it's
seen
moving
that
across
shit.
the sky doesn't look that fast because the distances that it's traveling. When you see things moving from the ground up, it actually looks much faster. And the way those things are moving down, or like, yeah, I
But
don't know.
Zendine
what I
just sent you another YouTube video. Hey, I'll be right back, guys. I gotta use the restroom real fast.
what I just sent you, Phil, was where the orb, where the orb actually dismantles the drone. Now this is, and then watch how it moves. This will tell you this looks like a intelligent being versus a mechanical thing. Tell me, that's what they're saying.
It's just the same.
You know,
It's always some crazy looking guy. Let's
yeah.
see.
Are you kidding me? Now, he took it from TikTok, but he had the shortest one of it, so I figured, hey, you know what?
All right.
You know,
I don't. Video.
All about what?
All right.
he, he's gonna show it this go red. So here it goes. It's gonna fly up to the orb, and it's gonna short circuit this shit. And it's gonna fall down to the earth. So there it goes. You know,
That almost doesn't look real.
I know, huh?
Excuse me.
You know,
Hey, we should towards Rudolph.
see it go up. See it.
What's really amazing is the weird looking long haired bearded friggin' dude in the middle of the sky floating like that.
I know, man. Hey, you didn't get his ass out of there. I know. Damn, I should have found a better clip. This guy's fucking it up.
No, it's amazing. Is Fat Jesus talking to the UFOs?
Did you see that, Paul?
Yeah, I saw part of it. Yeah.
Anyway, there's so much, man, and the other drones. But that thing of he stole this clip, but the clear one where it goes up, they actually show the orb, dismantle it, and then do some tricky maneuvers, which let you know, okay, that's otherworldly shit. You know. But anyway, we hit that hour, man. We busted it out, man.
Yeah, we did.
Hey, thanks for all the videos there, Zandy.
Oh man, thanks for Phil for like, trying to work with me on it. But I fucking was throwing
You know,
all kind of shit at him.
Uh,
in the 1970s, the East Coast military bases were bombarded by UFOs. And I actually experienced that in 1974. Yeah, 1974. They sent me over to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and we went to, on my own with two other GIs, we went to the town of Columbia, and we saw six blue discs in the night sky, and they were glowing blue, and they were in formation, a V formation. And one of the GIs that was with me, he goes, "Geese?" I go, "What the fuck are you talking about? Those are fucking UFOs, man." And we were like watching them V formation, and then they erratically took off in different directions. No conventional aircraft could do that. That was a real UFO sighting. And so when we were going back on the base, I said, "Let's report this." And the two guys I was with, they go, "We don't want to report it, man. They're going to think we're crazy." Man, but thank God, I'm a journalist, so I fucking wrote the story up. And that shit's been published all over the place. But I actually saw freaking UFOs in Fort Jackson, South Carolina. And
And
I'll never forget it.
awesome. Yeah, I've only ever seen two things, and both were in California. One was, one I got video of, and I didn't notice till after the fact. The one I saw actually over Face's house in the evening, and but I don't know whether that was conventional aircraft or not. Because to be honest with you, it's really hard to tell in the evening what's what sometimes, or what because there's so much we have out there. God knows how many satellites there are orbiting the Earth, and then there's stars out there that actually blink and look weird, and
yeah,
and it's
Whoa!
hard.
I got to talk about this real quick. I'm sorry, Phil, but it just hit me. Um, when I was talking about my 1974 incident, what was happening over at Fort Benning, Georgia, with
Jim,
some guy named Vasquez, he says that these UFOs went over to Fort Benning. He even wrote a book. It became a bestseller. And he contacted me. He says, "Paul, this needs to really be investigated." And I wrote a book about it. I've been interviewed and everything else, but there's more to it than that. And what happened was there was a military skirmish where the soldiers were fighting these UFOs that were flying over Fort Benning, Georgia. He says that a couple of those UFOs actually crashed in Fort Benning, Georgia. They covered it up. And also, too, this UFO came and there was a formation of soldiers and they all passed out. And they wind up being abducted by these UFOs. And if you guys want to know more about it, the book's called Incident at Fort Benning, Georgia. You can look it up. There's a book out. And he says, "Paul," he says, "so far I'm the only witness. You got to go out there and try to find the other witnesses." And so it was like, wow, okay, this is exciting. Let me try to, so I put the story out there, a bunch of articles, everything else. And come to find out, I got a call from a sergeant major. I can't think of his name right now, but the sergeant major contacted me. He says, "I was there. I saw it. It did happen. We were abducted." Uh,
damn,
and, yeah, and a bunch of military guys were abducted by these UFOs, and they were doing these experiments on them and everything else, and put them back on Fort Benning. And then I got contacted by another lieutenant that says, "I was there. It did happen." And then I've been contacted, and I try to get the guy on the show, but he's on my Facebook, and he says he was there. It actually happened. I said, "Well, let me get you on the show, the waiting room." and he was going to go ahead and do it, and he was on my schedule, and then he backed out. He goes, I don't want to do it because they'll kill me. And here's the weird thing: the sergeant major, he died. He during this whole thing when I'm trying to get all these witnesses and everything else, he
Yeah.
died mysteriously. Vasquez, who wrote the book, he died.
Did you get the sergeant major's name?
I can look it up because there's radio podcasts that interviewed the sergeant major and interviewed me. I can look it up right now if you want.
No, no, we don't have to do it right now. But I'm curious because it would lend some credibility to the story if we could figure out, one, is he, was he a sergeant major? Two, if he was at Fort Benning, he should not only have jump wings, but he should have gold jump wings. Because if you were a sergeant major at Fort Benning, Georgia, you should not only have the silver jump wings, which I think is like 5 jumps. You should have gold jump wings, which I think is 10 jumps. You should be a certified jump master because anybody at Fort Benning is going to take advantage of that and have all of it. Anyways, I'm just thinking somebody who's sergeant major is a big deal, especially a sergeant major on Fort Benning, Georgia, which is where jump school is.
Yeah. Oh, the shit was blowing up. Even Stanton Friedman got involved. Stanton Friedman actually interviewed the sergeant major because Stanton Friedman read my article, and I even talked to Stanton Friedman. We kind of got into it because he was telling me I didn't do a real thorough investigation. Well, I don't have the money to fly down to freaking Fort Benning, Georgia. I did the best I could.
But if you have the guy, if you have the guy's name and you can verify that one, he verify his rank, verify the new station there, and verify that he get a picture of him with the jump wings on there. I think that's more than and that was the guy you actually spoke to.
Yeah.
That's I think more than enough. And the guy Vasquez, if he was the guy who wrote the book.
Yeah.
I think that's enough. I mean, it's interesting that why would they be interested in that base? Because I mean, what the hell would the aliens want with jumping out of airplanes?
What I don't understand is how during when I was involved with all this, and that shit went viral, and the command sergeant major dies, and then Vasquez dies. It's like what? I mean, right in the middle of the whole thing, and Stanton Friedman, the nuclear scientist, he was involved in it.
I could see if they were interested in anything near Washington D.C. or NORAD, something like that. Maybe even anything in Antarctica, but or obviously Area 51. But Fort Benning, what else is there besides the jump school? Do you know what else is there?
No, yeah, yeah, just a jump school.
I know there's the Savannah River Model Plant. That's closer to. I don't know how close that is to Fort Benning. That's interesting. It'd be worth looking into.
Sergeant Major Norton, and that's his last name.
Norton.
Norton.
Interesting. All right. Well, we're about almost 20 minutes past the hour, so we ought to wrap this up.
Okay, and I'll send you that information about the Fort Benning thing.
Awesome. All right, Paul. Have a good night. Can't see us, but hopefully you can hear us. Have a great night, brother.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Good night, guys. Okay.